We must build defences. We must build alliances. You have your orders. The seventh moon approaches. Make haste. 7 moons. From Gunpowder Studios.
Hi everybody, my name is Harry Jacobs and I am the North of 60 Gamer, and this is the North of 60 Gaming channel, and I welcome you today. We are looking at a brand new game I just got in from Kickstarter called 7 Moons Heroes of Dragonreach. Go forth into the lands and prepare our kingdom for war. A fantasy adventure game for 1 to 4 players. The game itself is published by Gunpowder Studios. It is for 7 and up. It's 30 to 60 minutes and a 1 to 4 player game, as we've said already. I did have a look at this game on TTS when it first came to Kickstarter. It's good. It's a good little filler. 7 years and up. We don't find games like this for 7 years and up, so this is probably most likely a filler if I recall. This is the deluxe version, and it says, "A storm approaches. You must ready your city for war. You are a royal emissary sent by your monarch into the kingdom of Dragonreach to ready your city for war against the approaching shadow army. How will you raise enough gold to strengthen your defenses and hire allies to fight with you? Will you trade resources on the volatile market? Will you risk venturing into the lawless wilderness for its magical riches? Or will you embark on a quest to help the realm earn its rewards?" So there's a lot to do here in this game, so let's get down to the table and take a look at this game. And it does say it does include a solo mode, and that is what interests me the most, so we will be looking at the solo mode. So let's get down, let's do it. So here it is down on the table. The board is quite small, actually. The box is quite small. I meant to say it's only about 9 by 9 by 2 inches, but it is hefty. So there's a lot in this little tiny box. And there is the back of it, and you can see it looks like there's a ton of components, including metal coins and 27 extra meeples. Why there's 27 extra meeples, I don't know, but it must be due to the deluxe box. So we'll just bring that up a little bit. Tons of components. Wow, I don't know how they put this all in this little tiny box. Kind of scares me for setting this up and organizing it, because it is just a little tiny box, and this could cause problems for people who like to sleeve and organize, kind of like me. But let's get this box open. So as always, the challenge is, can we open this without looking like a real idiot on the screen? So let's try. Oh no. Oh, this one went rather smoothly. Now I will say I did cheat and help the corner a little bit there. I love the crinkle of shrink in the morning. Okay, let's open this box. Oh, it is jam-packed. Wow. There is a ton of stuff in here. Well, we've got dice in 4 different colors, so that's, I'm assuming that there are 4 different colors to play. All different individual size meeples, and we're going to take a little closer look at them as we get towards playing the game, but they're all different kinds. We have horses and dragons, metal coins. Look at all these metal coins. Oh, wow. I love the little half moons. Like in the old days, in the Middle Ages, I've seen them where they'll cut a coin in half. That's what we have here. Wow. Looks like we have some fortifications. More metal coins. A very small deck. This does look like a magic size deck, 63.5 by 88. We have meeples, and I'm not quite sure what all these meeples are for. It looks like we got some witches and wizards and stuff. 2 bags for whatever. A nice felt bag. Oh, look at that screen. 7 moons. We have the solo rules. Okay. All contained on one nice form like that. That's really nice. That is really cool. There's the 2 to 4 player rules. And there's not a lot to this game, but look, wow. I'm really interested to see where all these bits are from. These must be coins, so that's probably the bulk of what's going on, and some resources here. So we have a player board. It looks like we have some player boards. And we have the coins. We have, looks like resources maybe, or things you're going to find out in the wilderness. We've got eggs. I have no idea what those are. I don't know what any of these are. 50s. These are gems. Oh, that's probably something to do with being destroyed maybe. I don't know. And then lots of resources. So it looks like we have wood and we have metal and charcoal. Basically some fires. We got some little monsters, hobgoblins. Okay. So we're going to have to dig down into the rules for this a little bit, I think. Let's take a look at the board. Now the board looks huge on the back of the box, but it is only a small box. So let's move it over here. Let's see. This looks like a fairly small board. Oh, it is not that big a board. It looks huge. But that's it. Wow. Oh my gosh. It is very, very tiny. Let me just bring this back down a little bit. You're going to see a few things here on my desk, but let's just show you the map here, almost the whole map. So here it is. This is Dragon Reach, and here's the 4 different areas. And I assume that these are the towers and areas that we belong to. And it looks like we seed things out here, perhaps. I'm not totally sure, but the hexes are very, very small. So I imagined this bigger when I saw this in TTS. So kudos for keeping this game small, in a small box. Hopefully we can fit everything in. I'm not sure. I don't think 2 bags are enough. So we're going to see how that goes in a few minutes. But, you know, the components are good. I would consider going to Meeple Mart and, or the Meeple Source, and buying some wood and some coal and some iron just to supplement this game. I love quality of life. I like the feel of actual components. And that could have given it a little bit more deluxified, but I don't believe this game was totally expensive, so we're going to check it out. So that's what's in the box here for 7 Moons. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to organize it. Now, I am out of geek boxes and stuff. Now, I'm looking at these. Hopefully they fit in the hexes. They look bigger than the hexes. So I'm not quite sure how that is all going to work out for us when we start playing. What would have been nice is a neoprene mat would have been probably wonderful. There might have been one. I'm going to have to go back and check, and maybe I just didn't order one. But that is 7 Moons. And that is one of the games that we'll be covering in this week. We're going to organize it and get it going, and then we'll be back to the table playing it probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Of course, you may not be seeing it tomorrow or Wednesday because it's going to take a week or 2 to edit it. I've got like 3 or 4 things before it. So that is 7 Moons. That just came in from Kickstarter. Yeah, I'll show you what else is sitting at the table. You see the big box here. So I'm just going to bring it over for you, and you can see what the heck it is. A little teaser. We will be unboxing this. This is Uprising, and here it is. It is huge box. There it is. It's just off to the side there. We'll push it up. Uprising. There it is. And we'll be looking at this game. This has had some fabulous reviews. So here's a little teaser for you that we're going to be covering this in the next week or so. Usually I do a couple of unboxings, and then I do a couple of organizations, and then I start doing my playthrough. So I'll have 3 or 4 games going at the same time in different various states of limbo, so to speak. So let's get down, let's get this organized, and we'll look at it further. So here we are. We have sorted everything out. I've read through the rules. First of all, here's a bag of goodies that are left over because I have the deluxe version. So they'll just go back into the box of holding of miscellaneous bits and pieces. These make like nice counters. I do repurpose them often. So here's the box. Now, the first thing you can see is, doesn't fit. that's not a big deal because most games are like that. Here are the rules on top. It's a 2 to 4 player game, 7 moons. We'll go over this out. Everything here is in the box as far as I can tell. There's a couple of tokens that I can't quite figure out yet. But I believe the solo tokens you can add tokens to make the game easier, and I believe that's those ones right here. You can't see what I'm pointing to here, but those there. The campfire are the nicer tokens. They're wooden. Starting at the top, of course, we have our cards. There are 3 different types of cards. There's quest cards, wilderness cards, and shadow cards. So those are the monsters that we will be fighting. And there is quite a few. You're only going to fight 6, so you're going to basically deal out 4, 1 to each player, put 2 to the side. That's a scouting action for them, so they can figure out, if you can see the little icon right there, what their weakness is, and that will give you an extra die against them. So, and those are the heroes that you can buy at the various spots on the board. We have some quests. And in fact, these are encounters. So you'll go to campfires and you can encounter, and then you can do some quests. The quests say that you can pick one. It is free. I have a notion that really the game rules probably should have been said, take two, discard 1, or take 1, or pay a gold for another one, and then discard 1. Just so there's a little bit of a choice, because some of these, I think you'll be very hard-pressed to finish in a game. Of course, here are the player tokens right here in the little baggies. There's 4 of them there. Somewhere in here. They're buried. There we are. There's our player tokens. Each player gets a horse, a dragon, and a foot soldier. And you start with the foot soldier and you walk around. You actually go to Dragon Reach and you buy a horse. That's probably in the first few moves that you want to get to. So that's probably the first thing you want to do. Probably grab yourself a quest and then start to pick up and delivering. And this game is basically a pick up and delivery game. And you're going to pick up resources at the various spots. And then you're going to bring them back to the Dragon Reach and you're going to convert them to dollars. And then you're going to go visit the sites where you can actually hire mercenaries. And there are all your different mercenaries. You can only have 1 of each type. They're all color-coded for those who might be colorblind. And they're also shaped. So you have witches and wizards and barbarians, and you can only have 1 of each. If you're playing a 4-player game, the maximum you're going to have is 3 each, 3 to each. So somebody may not get something. Going back to the shadow cards, you don't want to be caught out not getting the one you want for your scout. So you want to probably get one of these fairly early. They cost 10 gold. These I'm not quite 100% sure of yet. I don't know. I don't know what they are yet. These are our resources. Now, if you wanted to further deluxify this, you could go to Meeple Source and buy them. I just did that, actually. I bought a Scythe kit. I don't have Scythe, but the resources in here match basically what Scythe has, and so we're going to substitute them out. And we basically iron, coal, and wood, and you'll buy them. These are optional. These are fairies. And you can visit a fairy gate, and you can pick at randomly one of the fairies. And then once per turn, you're allowed to use their secret and special ability. There's the blue player. These are the decrees. That is a quest. This is a quest. You have to pick up 4 of these and then bring them to Dragon Reach or wherever and make nice. These dragon crystals, I believe, have to do with the solo game, and you can make the solo game easier by adding these, in which case that becomes like a null draw. Nothing happens. Woohoo. These are quest items in here. You'll pick them up on a quest. Sorry, or wilderness. Wilderness. So you'll find these in a wilderness, and that is the Dragon Reach at the end when it gets totally destroyed. We have our fortresses. Ample amount of coins, and of course that is our marker for the Dragon Shadow Force. We have dice. These are your player boards, and you can see how many resources you can carry. And if you're on foot, you can carry 4. Carry 6 if you're on a horse, 5 if you're on a dragon, and there's rules for movement for dragons and horses and all that kind of good stuff. This is your Moonrise track. This is going to track the shadow forces, and they're ever going to move ever closer to your realm. And then, of course, when it hits the skull, there's an all-out attack. And then here is our market prices. So every time you sell a commodity, you're going to roll the dice. It starts off at 3. Once you sell something, you roll it. And in the solo game, it will trigger 2. There's solo rules will actually allow you to play, and it kind of simulates another player. And I don't know what I do with the solo rules. They must have left them out on the table. And then, of course, the game board. So that is all in the box, and I'm going to go track down my solo rules. In the bag here are the gems that go with the solo rules, and we're going to be looking at them a little closer because we will be playing the solo rules. But that's what's in the box. Next up is the setup. How do we set this up? How do we start playing? We will be playing solo. With the rules, you can play cooperatively. So if I wanted to play 4-handed or 2-handed, I could do that. But we're going to go and we're going to concentrate on the solo mode and the solo rules. It's basically the same game other than a few minor changes, which we'll go over with when we hit the board. So let's get that set up for you and we'll start playing. Just before we set up, I just want you to note that actually it does fit. So I was wrong. I kind of threw everything in as I moved from my kitchen table to my studio table to record this. So it actually does fit. I did find the solo rules. There they were. I left them on the table. The kind of neat thing is there's adventures. The Chronicles of the Reach story tokens. Check out the website for free-to-play in-game adventures using the story tokens or use them to tell your own story. So that's kind of neat. So you can actually go and they've given us some replayability based on some stories. And narratives are very, very important. The game is not shy of a narrative. There we are. Now, the Reach got its dragon and cast the shadow of war. And there's a real narrative here. And maybe we'll take a read through that before we play. Look at that. There's the dragon. And there's its little story. And we'll go through some of that. I think that's important to set a game tone, is have that narrative. And even a gateway game, and there is no doubt that this is a gateway game, has a narrative. And why are we here? What are we doing? We're building up why. We have to get resources. Why? We have to get these different mercenaries. Why? So this game is doing a very, very good job of that. I think it's going to be a bit of a sleeper. It is a good gateway, and I think I've already mentioned that. I think if you're trying to teach your kids, 7+ is a great age. It's really just moving, collecting a resource, buying, upgrading your horse and your castles, and at the end try to survive by rolling dice. So the mechanics, very, very simple, and we're going to go all over that once we start playing. So let's go down to the table and get this thing set up. So I set up the board, and we're going to just go through this setup very, very quickly. We've seen some of these components in the box. We've laid it out on the table for you. First, I'll draw your attention to the middle, which is the board itself. Now, normally you would not see this set up in a 2 to 4 player game. What I have done is just made it a little easier for myself in terms of a solo play. The yellow is our campsites, and we will visit our campsites, and we will then take a wilderness card, and we will resolve a wilderness card. Here you can see the different, I'll call them guilds, and here we can buy resources and recruit. Now we can recruit the various allies at 10 gold each. We buy resources at 1 gold each, and then we come over here, make our way back to Dragon Reach, and then we sell our resources on the resource track. The resource track starts at 3, and every time we sell a resource, we are going to roll the dice, and the market is going to change. I start out with 9 gold. I start out on foot. I can only move 4, and the way you move is actually you roll 2 dice, and then you pick which dice you want. If I roll a doubles, I get 1 gold. If I roll a 1 and choose to use the 1, I will move 1 and gain a gold. So there's a couple ways. If I go into the wilderness, which are the ones that are not on the road, so let's just say I wanted to come up here and go to this campfire and roll a 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go through 2 wilderness. I'm going to have to roll the dice. If I roll a 1 or 2, the bandits are going to steal my gold or resource. If I have no gold or resources, it's moot. They don't kill you. It's very abstract. You can see my horse is a dragon march, and one of the first things we want to do, of course, is get up to Dragon March and get that horse for 5 gold. I start with 9 because you double your movement. You roll 2 dice and you can use them. Your dragon over here costs 10, but you can see it's a big trick to the wilderness, and you better have a lot of gold just in case. And I don't know if you can see it. Let's just bring the us down a little lower. And here you can see a ferry gate. So ferry gates will allow you to travel from one ferry gate to another. Now we are not playing with the optional rules. It's just one less thing to remind ourselves about. But the optional rule allows us to actually randomly take a ferry as a companion, and once per turn we can actually use the ferry special ability. We have the Shadow Army here. There are 5 here. I have 1 here. We are allowed to scout ahead. So here is the Revenant Army. So we can see that they're going to be a 12 when they attack Dragon March and a 3 when they attack us. And we'll explain about that when we get to that portion of the game. We're going to want an Elven Archer, which is up here. Now that means we can roll an extra dice, because the weakness of the Revenant Army is the Archer or Elves. So that is our scouting action, and we can just put that here. Now everybody, if you're playing a multiplayer game, will have that opportunity to have their own scouts. But you're going to want to build up a number of allies. You're going to want to build your fortresses, and to build a fortress you have to have 1 of each resource, and then you can build your fortress. And then over here is our moon phases, and we're going to explain how this works when we start playing, but basically this is one of the timing mechanisms. So as we go through the game and as we build our fortress, when we get to our 3rd fortress, we are going to move that up. When we recruit a hero, we are going to move that up. I've pulled out my handy demon, and we're going to start here at the Shadow Moon Army stage. We don't have to worry about that. But what's going to happen is we're going to draw gems out of this bag every turn. And then if we match the gem, we're going to move it along. And we're going to do what it says. In this case, it's remove the closest wilderness token. That kind of simulates that somebody else is there. If we just pull a different color, we're just going to put them here and here. And it's kind of like a respite. Once it gets to 3, we're going to put it back in the bag. Also, if we ever get to here, we're going to move this along. So there's 3 ways to move this along the moon track. Once we are down to 7, that is the Shadow Army. So we have to have our fortresses built, our allies sitting there, and hopefully we can survive the attack, because it's wave after wave. And that is the setup. We have our quests here, so we can go to Dragon March and pick up a quest. Quests are a little bit harder, but they do bring in some riches and rewards. Wilderness brings you some special abilities, and some of the cards, some of them you fight off. We don't know what we're going to do in the wilderness, and that is basically the game. So the game is a pickup and delivery game. It is basically you're going to travel over to here, you're going to pick up some coal, you're going to come back, you're going to sell it, you're going to come down here and buy a barbarian, you're going to go here and go over here and do a wilderness action. So basically it's a small adventure game. The recommended age is 7 up. I think I mentioned that earlier. We start off with 9 gold. We're going to go after that horse. That is how this game is set up. Let's get down and let's start playing. This is 7 Moons, Heroes of Dragonreach. Oh, one thing I should mention, there is a handy reference card right there. The rules are very, very simple though. And here, if we were playing with our fairies, we would play them here. So let's get started. So I've set up the board, and we're going to just go through this setup very, very quickly. We've seen some of these components in the box. We've laid it out on the table for you. First, I'll draw your attention to the middle, which is the board itself. Now, normally you would not see this set up in a 2 to 4 player game. What I have done is just made it a little easier for myself in terms of a solo play. The yellow is our campsites, and we will visit our campsites, and we will then take a wilderness card, and we will resolve a wilderness card. Here you can see the different, I'll call them guilds, and here we can buy resources and recruit. Now we can recruit the various allies at 10 gold each. We buy resources at 1 gold each, and then we come over here, make our way back to Dragon Reach, and then we sell our resources on the resource track. The resource track starts at 3, and every time we sell a resource, we are going to roll the dice, and the market is going to change. I start out with 9 gold. I start out on foot. I can only move 4, and the way you move is actually you roll 2 dice, and then you pick which dice you want. If I roll a doubles, I get 1 gold. If I roll a 1 and choose to use the 1, I will move 1 and gain a gold. So there's a couple ways. If I go into the wilderness, which are the ones that are not on the road, so let's just say I wanted to come up here and go to this campfire and roll a 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go through 2 wilderness. I'm going to have to roll the dice. If I roll a 1 or 2, the bandits are going to steal my gold or resource. If I have no gold or resources, it's moot. They don't kill you. It's very abstract. You can see my horse is at Dragon March, and one of the first things we want to do, of course, is get up to Dragon March and get that horse for 5 gold. I start with 9 because you double your movement. You roll 2 dice and you can use them. Your dragon over here costs 10, but you can see it's a big trick to the wilderness, and you better have a lot of gold just in case. And I don't know if you can see it. Let's just bring this board down. Let's just bring the us down a little lower. And here you can see a ferry gate. So ferry gates will allow you to travel from one ferry gate to another. Now we are not playing with the optional rules. It's just one less thing to remind ourselves about. But the optional rule allows us to actually randomly take a fairy as a companion, and once per turn we can actually use the fairy special ability. We have the Shadow Army here. There are 5 here. I have 1 here. We are allowed to scout ahead. So here is the Revenant Army. So we can see that they're going to be a 12 when they attack Dragon March and a 3 when they attack us. And we'll explain about that when we get to that portion of the game. We're going to want an Elven Archer, which is up here. Now, that means we can roll an extra dice, because the weakness of the Revenant Army is the Archer or Elves. So that is our scouting action, and we can just put that here. Now, everybody, if you're playing a multiplayer game, will have that opportunity to have their own scouts. But you're going to want to build up a number of allies. You're going to want to build your fortresses, and to build a fortress you have to have 1 of each resource, and then you can build your fortress. And then over here is our moon phases, and we're going to explain how this works when we start playing, but basically this is one of the timing mechanisms. So as we go through the game and as we build our fortress, when we get to our 3rd fortress, we are going to move that up. When we recruit a hero, we are going to move that up. I've pulled out my handy demon, and we're going to start here at the Shadow Moon Army stage. We don't have to worry about that. But what's going to happen is we're going to draw gems out of this bag every turn, and then if we match the gem, we're going to move it along. And we're going to do what it says. In this case, it's remove the closest wilderness token. That kind of simulates that somebody else is there. If we just pull a different color, we're just going to put them here and here, and it's kind of like a respite. Once it gets to 3, we're going to put it back in the bag. Also, if we ever get to here, we're going to move this along. So there's 3 ways to move this along the moon track. Once we are down to 7, that is the Shadow Army. So we have to have our fortresses built, our allies sitting there, and hopefully we can survive the attack. Because it's wave after wave. And that is the setup. We have our quests here, so we can go to Dragon March and pick up a quest. Quests are a little bit harder, but they do bring in some riches and rewards. Wilderness brings you some special abilities, and some of the cards, some of them you fight off. We don't know what we're going to do in the wilderness, and that is basically the game. So the game is a pick-up and delivery game. It is basically you're going to travel over to here, you're going to pick up some coal, you're going to come back, you're going to sell it, you're going to come down here and buy a barbarian, you're going to go here and go over here and do a wilderness action. So basically it's a small adventure game. The recommended age is 7 up. I think I mentioned that earlier. We start off with 9 gold. We're going to go after that horse. That is how this game is set up. Let's get down and let's start playing. This is 7 Moons, Heroes of Dragonreach. Oh, one thing I should mention, there is a handy reference card right there. The rules are very, very simple though. And here, if we were playing with our fairies, we would play them here. So let's get started. One thing I forgot to mention on the setup, we are playing on the easy mode, so these are abstracted. So at the end of the game, when the Shadow Army attacks, each one of these other castles are going to help us, and they provide a dice each. But it's abstract, so we could take it out. If we find it too easy, the next time we could take a dice out. But this just helps us fight the Dragon March in the middle when they attack the middle, as opposed to our individual. And we'll explain that a little bit when we get to the Shadow Army fight at the very end of the game. I don't think this game is long. They say it's about an hour. We're going to check that out. I think it's going to be a little slower solo, but I think this is a good gateway game, and let's find out if it is or not. So we're ready to start the game. We have our 2 dice and our knight on foot. We have our little dice in the corner here, ready, set to go. Our market is set. We have our 9. Now a couple little changes in components to represent the coal, wood, and to represent the coal, wood, and iron. I'm going to actually use dice, and I have a maximum of 4 right now until we get some sort of a horse. And for the gems, instead of using the little paper gems, I'm actually going to use these types of gems in purple, green, and black. I've got some examples here, right here, off to the side. There we are. So we're going to be using those gems in the bag. That just makes more sense to me in terms of the littleness of these resources. They're just too fiddly sometimes. But we're going to start now. And we're going to roll the dice. Now, when we're on foot, we roll 2 dice. And we pick one that we want. And certainly 6 would be a good one to pick. And that would take us to here. Now, unless we're going to off the grid or off into the wilderness, we are fine. Now, the first thing we do is we are going to pick a gem out of this bag. And we are going to pick a orange gem, which is going to go down here into this space. And that means we don't do anything at this point. So we're just going to roll again. We're going to roll a 6 or a 1. Now, I could roll a 1, take the 1, and then get a gold. But I'm going to take the 6, and I'm going to go over to this campsite. 1, 2. And then I'm going to roll twice. I'm going to roll twice. And if I roll a 1, I'm going to lose some money. Nope, there's a 2. So we don't lose any money. So we're going to take this campsite off, and we're going to pick out the first card. The first card is an abandoned horse. You find an abandoned horse wandering in the wilderness. Choose one of the following. Take the horse or immediately sell the horse to a passing traveler for 3 gold, or roll the dice. I am actually going to take the horse because that's what we were going up there to do. So for the time being, we're going to just remove our foot soldier and take our quest up to the top and put it in the discard. The discard is up above. You can't see that. There's some cards and campsites. Again, that is the turn. We must stop. We will pull a gem out of the bag. It is another orange, so we are good. We don't have to do anything at this point except roll the dice. We have a 6. One. The closest, we want to get back to the road as quickly as we can. So we're going to go up and we're going to try to buy wood here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now that's 2 in the wilderness. So we had a 6, sorry. 2 in the wilderness. 3, a 5, we're good. 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we've then moved on, and we'll pick another gem. If we pick an orange gem, we're going to have to move this dragon along here. So we picked the purple gem. Because we're on that space, we don't have to move anywhere. So we are going to roll the dice again. We roll a 10, which is excellent. We're going to try to get over here as quickly as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to get over here. So we do have to stop. We could stop at the campfire if we want. Well, let's go go get the wood here. And then we'll come across this way. So we have 10. So we're going to go, the rest of the movement, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have to roll 3 times to see whether or not we lose any gold. Well, once is a 6, a 2, and a 4. We stop here, which is good. We don't have enough to buy the wood elf because the wood elf would cost us 10. Though we are going to buy wood, and we're going to buy a full thing of wood, which is 6. So we're going to buy 6 wood. Leaves us with 3. That is the end of the turn. Our next turn, we're going to try to get as close to Dragon March as we can. So we're going to pick another gem. It is a green gem, unfortunately, and we're just going to move that forward one, and we are going to roll the dice. We are going to remove the closest campfire, which is this one. So that is done. We are now going to roll the dice again. This game is very much a race game. 4, which doesn't really help us at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is pretty bad. We will pick the next gem color, and it will be a green. So we're safe. We don't have to move him at all. We are now going to roll the dice again. We have an 11. So we're going to move cross country to 1. That's the road. So we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to have to roll the dice 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a 6 and a 7. So we're pretty good. At this point now we can sell our resources. I'm going to sell 4 of the resources for 12. 1 and 2. And then what's going to happen is the rules state that I can actually send resources to my home state, which is over here. And now we're an empty bag again. So the reason why I want to do this is once we have an equal number of wood, coal, and iron, we can build a fortress. And this is what this game is all about, is getting prepared for this end. And we still need this guy, but we'll see if we can get back to him. So again, we will now draw the next gem. It is a purple. We do not move. So we are going to try to get up to here, the Wood Elves, or I should say the Iron Dwarves. 12. So the first thing we do on a 12 is, it is a doubles, which allows us to take a coin, which is good. How far can we get here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with 2 wilderness trumps. So this brings us over to here, and we'll have to roll the dice twice for wilderness. 6, 1. We are going to lose a gold. And we are back to pulling. We pull an orange. Basically means we either move it. 3 would trigger the move, and an orange would trigger the move. So roll the market dice. So we are going to roll the market dice. Not bad. 5, 3, and 4. And we are going to buy metal. So unless it changes again, we are going to be in good shape. I just have to roll the dice. I'm really just moving 1. We're going to move 1. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to spend 10 to bring a ally over. Now this does trigger and moves us forward on our moon track. But that's fine. And then I'm going to spend I'm going to spend the lot and buy 4 iron, and we'll represent that with the blue dice. The problem with that, of course, is that if we go through the wilderness, we could lose our resources to our bandits. And then again, we are going to pick up our gem. So if we get the 3rd charcoal gem, we're going to be moving it along. If we get a purple, yes, we did. We're going to move this along. We're going to advance this here, and all these gems are going to go back into the bag. It's our turn again. Let's hope for another big roll. 7. There's some. No, I've got to go back to Dragon March. Pretty much. So it's 1, 2. We have 1 in the wilderness. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 2 rolls in the wilderness. 6. Thank goodness. 1. We're going to go down to 3. Damn bandits. And then we're going to pick out which is a purple. We don't have to do anything here. It is our turn again. We're going to roll the dice. We have a 5. We're going to get to our Dragon March sign. What's going to happen now is I'm only going to sell one of these. So that is going to give us 5 only. However, what that does is allows us to put 2 metal down into our fortress. And that is all she wrote for this turn. So we don't have a ton of money, but we have to get down here at this point. And then we want to get back up here quickly. I'd actually like to get here and then here. So that we don't have a ton of money. Hopefully we won't lose these. 6. Oh, we didn't draw a... yeah, we draw the charcoal. Okay, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to draw up. It is a purple. We're good. We're going to roll the dice again. 10 doubles. So I do get a gold for that, which is good. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can make it, but I have to go 1, 2 through the wilderness, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to have to take 3 wilderness rolls. So there we are, 3 wilderness rolls. First one is a 3. Second one is a 5. 3, so we don't lose any money. The best I can do is I can buy 6 coal. It's not bad, it's 3. So we're going to spend all our money and invest it in coal. Now we are going to, I don't have money to take this guy, so we're going to have to take our gem out. Purple. So this is going to move our dragon along, and we're going to return these to our there, and we're going to remove the closest fire. Where are we here? I would say it's that one. Our turn rolls around again. You can see how quick turns are here. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It would take us through the wilderness twice, but we can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 2 wilderness rolls. 1, we're going to lose 1 resource. So we're going to down to 5 coal thanks to our bad planning. Now we pick out another. So this is just a pickup and delivery game. A purple, which goes over here, doesn't hurt us at all. We're going to roll our dice again. 5. It's really not helpful to go that slow. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next gem. Unless we pick out a red, we're in good shape. Or a green comes out. So let's hope for a purple. There's a purple. That doesn't move at this point. We get to roll the dice again. 3. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that is painful. So if a green, best scenario is a red right now. And it doesn't move things along. Oh, it's a green. So we have 3. It's going to move this along. We are going to roll the market dice. Oh, well, that could be good or bad because we have coal. Coal is now 1. Wow, that just blows my mind because now we really don't have a lot of money. Anyway, we're going to go roll our dice. And we're basically going here. We're selling our coal for 5 only. But actually, we're only selling 3 of them, to tell you the truth. 1. Sorry about that. 2 and 3. So we only made 3. You'd think I was more coordinated than that. The problem, of course, I'm going to send 2 coal over to here. The good news is, at this point in time, I can actually now build 2 of these fortresses, getting us more ready to take this on. I would love to get the dragon. The dragon allows for a reroll, and it allows us to travel overland. And as long as we don't stop in a wilderness, we would be in good shape. Anyway, again, now we take out of the bag. So the best thing we can hope for are greens and reds. Purple, which is basically going to move us up into the next realm, into the Shadow Moon Tracker. And we're back to our turn here. Certainly at this point, it's a good to get another, if we get another set. Now, I should have thought about that, but I don't know whether we're going to have time to actually get a 3rd fortress up, but maybe we can get another hero or ally. So let's roll the dice and see where we go with this. 3. That's not particularly helpful at all. Where is the closest ferry gate? See, there's one up here, one up here. It's really tough to decide. I think the quickest is to go here, pick up gold for 6, and then try to get over here. So we're going to do that. We're going to just cut across country. We've sold all our gold. We have 3 only. If we lose that money, though, to bandits, we're going to have nothing to buy. So that is a risk we're going to have to take too. Or do we go, okay, let's go 1, 2, 3 and play a little bit conservatively. We'll pull out a gem. Unless there's a green gem, we should be okay. Purple, so we're good. We'll roll our dice again. Let's really hope for something really good. 4 doubles. At least I get a extra gold here. I dumped the ones in the bottom when I did this, so you know that's probably a tactical mistake, is putting the smallest denomination on the bottom. But these coins are excellent. I like the way these are half-shaped. But so we're going to cut across. 1, 2, wilderness, 3, 4. So we're going to have to roll the wilderness dice twice. 6, we're good. Now we're going to pick our gem. Let's hope for greens and reds. Not a red. Oh, there's a green, which means we're going to move this one. We're going to remove the closest wilderness. We're going to roll again. We have 8 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gets us into there. We will buy 4 iron. 4 iron. There we go. We will pick our magic gem up. Purple, we're good. We will now roll the dice. Let's hope for like an 11 or 12 or something. 1, 2, 3. We're going to scoot across 2 wilderness, which means we're going to roll the dice. 2, we're good. 3, we're good. Take a gem. Orange, which we're going to move along, which means we're going to roll the market dice. Now, if blue goes down and out, it's going to suck. Nope, blue's got 5, 3, and 2. That's good. We're going to roll our dice. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can't really get close. 1, 2. We're going to minimize the walk. 1, 2, 3 in the wilderness. 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll have to roll the wilderness dice once. Phew! We dodged a bullet. We pick a gem again. Pretty much the only one that'll hurt us is a purple. So we're good for a green. We're going to roll our dice, but basically we are going right into here. We are going to sell 3, so we're going to make 15 out of this. Oh, if I can find the 5, there we are. We're going to make 15, and we're going to send 1 steel back. We're going to try to get that extra fortress built. At this point in time, we're going to try to get this archer, if we can, because we know one of them is going to be an archer. And we can buy some. Wood's not really good, but I know that one of them is an archer. But it might be just as well to pick up some coal. Then maybe we can buy the dragon. Let's just think here. Both are about equal. And we are going to shuffle the shadow attack. So coal is the better deal, though. Or steel again, but then we don't get to buy a... We can always buy a witch and a wizard. We have 8. Well, we kind of have to... you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to get over here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 through the wilderness to get us to the campfire. 2, we're good. 6, we're good. 6, we're good. We're going to take a wilderness card. Goblin camp. You spy 2 goblin scouts in the clearing, sharpening their swords and bragging about how many reachers they're going to kill in the forthcoming war. You launch a surprise attack. Roll the dice. On a 1 to 2, we're going to lose 4 resources or gold. On a 3 to 6, we're going to kill the goblins and roll 3 dice of gold. So on a 1 or 2, let's hope that we don't get a 1 or 2. With my luck, of course, we will roll a 1 or 2, and I'm going to lose 4. Of course, I roll a 1. So I'm going to lose 4 coin. Yay, that takes us down to 1. We still have the 10, so it's not terrible, but it would have been so much better the other way. Okay, well, let's pull a crystal. Let's hope for a green or orange. Purple. That means we are going to move along the track. And we're going to roll that up 1. We are going to roll again. An 11. So we're going to go 1, 2, wilderness. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've made it. So we do have to roll for the wilderness. 6. 6, we're good. We are going to spend 10 to pull our ally out, which also means that we are going to pull this up. So we are 1 turn basically away from this. And then what we're going to do is buy 2 wood. which isn't really going to buy us much, but we'll be able to send it back. We only have to buy 1 wood, really, but we can sell it for a profit. So we'll buy 2 wood and hope that we can make it back long enough to survive the turn. We are now going to draw another card, orange, which we don't have to move, which is good. Let's hope for a big roll. 8. Well, that's pretty big. I almost want to go right to the coal. Go down here. I think that's what we're going to do. We don't have any money, though. Oh, well, so we're going to try to go as quickly as we can back to Dragon March. 1, 2, 3. Wow. All we got to do is make it back with 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've crossed 2 wilderness. So there's a 6. There's a 6. We took our chance. We won. That's good. Let's hope for a black. We have lots of blacks in here. Or blue, purples in my case. There's the orange. However, 3 oranges triggers the movement, which removes the closest campfire. We only have a couple more to go. We really want to get... We roll enough to get us here. That's good. We're going to sell our 1 wood for 2. And send 1 wood back to our fortress. Now, the one thing we will see is that once I put the 3rd one out here, that is going to trigger the shadow escape bit. So right now we need to get down to here. Oh, and we have to, of course, pull a gem. It is an orange gem, which means we're going to roll along here, which means we're going to roll the market dice, which is really moot at this point. Okay, 5, 3, 3. My turn again. And we have to get down to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to roll. We're going to just pick a gem. Which is a purple, which basically says move the Shadow Army, which is right here. This triggers the end game. So the end game is now triggered because we've moved to the end space here. So let's just clear off a little bit of what's going on here and we'll see what's going on. So now we're ready. So the first thing we're going to do is take the scout card in and we're going to shuffle everything up. We have 6 cards to get through. We do have our allies. So we will be rolling 3 dice to make it a little easier on us. We could actually lessen that to make it the game easier. We have 2 fortresses and 2 allies. And what we're going to do is pull the first one. Now you can see that we have a Spiders of the Nest. Now we do get some or Spiders of the Dead Forest. So 14 for our realm defense and 5 for the city. Now I don't have a matching ally. So we're going to roll our dice. We're going to roll. So the first number we're looking for is 14 across all 4 dice. So we have 6 plus 5 plus 4 is 15. We have defended the realm. Unfortunately, I did not defend my city because I needed a 5. So I will lose an ally or a fortress. So that is our first defense down. Second, we do have a wood elf, which is good. That is going to give us an extra dice. We have a 13 and a 4. So we are going to roll 2 white dice. So the first figure we're going to look at for is 13, which we can see here we've got plenty. 6, 6, 12, 6, and 17. And I've got a 6 for my own dice and 4. We have successfully defended this realm. Okay, we will pick up the next card. It's another, looks like a knight. It's 13 and 3, so we're going to just roll 4 dice. So we have 5, 9, 13 just. So we've defended the realm and we've defended the city. So that goes away. We have a 12 and 3 and the archer. So we get to roll 2 dice again. So basically, as long as we have 12, which we do, and we have greater than 3, which we do, 3 or more right here, we have defended our realm. We have 2 more to do. A 16 and a 4. These are the demon acolytes. And we need a wizard for that, which we don't have. We are going to roll our dice. So we have lost 2 of our... we lost our ally and a fortress because we did not be able to defend for the realm, and we weren't able to defend for the city. This is the last card. This is the last one. All the marbles. A 13 and a 3. Oh, we should have not kept the dwarf, but we did not. Okay, what do we have? We have a 13, but we don't have a 3. Our dwarf is killed. Our city is dead. We are razed to the ground. The Shadow Army wins, and that is the game. I lost. Let's go for some final thoughts. Hi everybody, we are here for some final thoughts, and you can see the game behind us. This game is a filler and a gateway game. You saw how easy it was. We're basically a pick-up delivery game until the very end, and then we're going to roll some dice and basically match or not match the numbers and die. The more allies you can pick up, but it is self-limiting. Whether you have 3 or 4 players, every time they buy an ally, it goes up. Every time you buy an ally, it goes up. Every time they build fortresses, they go up. And in here, of course, we have a timing mechanism in our moon phase chart in the solo play. So I don't think there's not a big difference in the play itself. The most you're probably ever going to find is probably two allies, and if you're lucky, you might get a third fortress built, and that would have saved our day, of course. And we could have rolled +1s. If you have 3 fortresses, you get a +1 to your dice roll, which I couldn't quite did. We ran out of time. The rules, simple. You roll the dice, you move, you basically roll the dice and move, and then if you're lucky enough to hit one of these spots here, you can interact with them, either buying an ally, picking up some wood or steel, interacting with a campsite or a wilderness space, I think if you were playing a multiplayer game, you're certainly going to have, I think, a slower time of it, because you can slow the game down because you don't have this chart. So you're really against the other players. So if you all agree as players to sort of go, I'm just going to go about my business and collect some gold and sort of try to get your resources and then go after your allies, then maybe it works, and there is a cooperative version of this. So the rules are simple, no question about it. Components, I didn't like the little gems here. Didn't like them at all. But thanks to my handy bag of gems here, you can see, and I'm going to just leave them in there now because I'm not going to deal with those little things. I think if you're going to deluxify a game, they could have gone a little further and simply gone out to MeepleSource and bought a bunch of gems like I do. I have a bunch of gems. I use them all the time. I don't like these little chips. Again, very fiddly. Whoops. I don't like these little chips. Again, a little fiddly for my big fat fingers. But I'm going to keep these 3 dice in there for solo play, just for ease of use. And then I just use them to mark down here, but I'm not trying to fill 6 on this card. It's just too hard. It just doesn't make sense in terms of the components. So there's a little weak spot in the components a bit. We didn't do the quests because there's just no time. I could have picked a quest up, but chances are, because you're really fighting against this, you're really not going to get the quests done. At least you're not going to have the time to get the quests done. So I think in a multiplayer game, perhaps you can pick up a quest and maybe get there. There are rules for victory points. I basically got 0 because I didn't have anything left in my cities. So I lost. So I might have, if I did a quest, and maybe I would win because everybody else is dead. but I did not survive. So as a solo game, I would say it's a little underwhelming. It was fast to play. It's pretty easy to set up. But I think all in all, for a solo game, I think the solo play could have been a little bit better, perhaps. This works, but I don't think it's compelling enough me to want to come back and play it again and again and again and again. Maybe again because I want to beat it, but I don't think so. I think a game like Legends of Novice, if you're looking for a gateway adventure game, I think the Legends of Novice does this type of a thing just a touch better. It's a little deeper, but again, if you're dealing with a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old or a young crowd or people who aren't familiar with gaming, I think this is a good game. I think this will give them a good sense of how to play an adventuring game without overly complicating the rules. So, all in all, the value of this game, if we take a look at the overall value, it wasn't particularly expensive. It is small box. The components are good. The rules are easy. It is what it is. And I think at the end of the day, if you were to try to sell it, if we take a book out of Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Go, I don't think you're going to get the full money value back out of this. It's definitely not going to increase. I don't think it's a good enough game to really hold its value or increase in value. The best you probably would do if you wanted to dump it is to get your price, and you're probably going to take a little loss for shipping on it. That would be my take on it. I would say it's not an excellent game. I'd say if we're going to give it a score, I would give it a 7, maybe. It's just above. It's a little better than mediocre, but really not really good. I'd have to give it an 8 to be good, and a 9 or 10 would be excellent. It's in that mediocre range, mediocre to good range. I think it's really going to depend on the crowd that you play with. It is a beer and pretzel, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with beer and pretzel games. So if you take that, and you're bound to have a fun time at the table. It's small. You could drink. Not a lot of cards. Not complicated rules. That's my take on the solo version of 7 Moons. If you like what you heard and see, please hit the like, subscribe. Always good to have new subscriber, and I appreciate you subscribers and all the new subscribers that have come on board in the last couple of weeks, and there's been a few of them. I certainly appreciate it when you do subscribe, because that does show me that you appreciate me taking the time to do this for you. I do it for myself a little bit too, but for you as well. And then notifications, if you want to be notified as I put new content up. I try to do about a project a week. Arkham Noir is up now, so you might want to check that out. That was the last one, and we're going to go through the next couple of cases. This is going to be between that, and then we have a few Kickstarters coming up, a few previews coming up in the next week or two. A couple of them I'm really excited for, so please keep an eye on my channel for new stuff. Anyway, this is Harry Jacobs. I am the Northern 60 Gamer. This is the Northern 60 Gaming channel. It's minus 30 degrees outside, and it's cold. Talk to you later.